The kid was so hungry he swiped something from the guy. Next thing he knew, the guy tracked him down and torched his place. Well, the kid had night blindness, so he couldn't see the man's face clearly, but he could tell the thing in the man's hand was dangerous. Panicking, he dropped to his knees and begged for his life. But the guy didn't let up. He aimed his gun right at him. The kid bolted as fast as he could. But how can you outrun a gun? In no time, he was cornered. He fell to his knees saying he was sorry and begging the man to spare. But the guy just pulled out a dagger. He stabbed it right through the kid. The kid screamed in agony. Then the guy said calm lie. This was theft based on how he usually had. Criminals like this would get their hands and feet chopped off or just killed. Then the man's face darkened. So stop crying. Say something useful, or I'll execute you right here. The boy cried out that everything was still there, all of it at home. But now the house was burned down, the house where he lived with his mother, all gone. The kid cried harder, saying the stolen stuff was in the bundle. The meat too. He was starving, but he didn't take a single bite. The guy just sat there watching the kid cry. Finally, he couldn't take anymore and told him to stop. A second ago you were scared to death, now suddenly you've got energy. You talk way too much. If your tongue's too long, he could cut it off for you. That scared the kid into covering his mouth. My tongue's not long at all. Please don't cut it. But the pain in his hand made him cry again. Sir, I really didn't mean any harm. I was just too hungry lately. So I had no choice but to take your things. Can't you forgive me just this once? When the man didn't say anything, the kid figured he was done for. He gave up hope and begged the guy to let him say goodbye at his mother's grave. He just wanted to see her one last time before he died. But then the guy suddenly spoke. Who said I was killing you? Just give me back what you stole. That stumped the kid. His house was burned down. He had nothing left. All that remained was himself. The guy looked him over. Your body looks fine. Use that to pay me back and I'll let you off. The kid didn't understand what he meant. Was he going to chop off his hands? Then he figured he must want him as a servant. He quickly agreed, saying he'd work his hardest at whatever the man ordered. Then, the guy suddenly reached out and touched the kid's head, looking closely at his eyes. After thinking for a moment, he picked up his weapon and turned to the kid. Come with me. She'd stole from the guy because he was starving. Next thing he knew, he got caught and the guy burned down his house. Normally, the guy would never spare someone like that. But after seeing the kid's face, he felt pity and brought him home. In the morning, the kid woke up to the smell of food. A kind woman was there. Just as the kid was about to eat, a string of curses startled him. Hurry up and eat, then get out here, you beggar. The woman stood up for him. How's he supposed to eat that fast? The food just got here and you're already yelling. She turned to comfort the kid. Don't worry about it. Since the master brought him to the outer estate, just work hard. The guy outside is the head servant. Just do what he says, from now on. Half a month passed. The kid did the hardest work every day. But the foreman Zhao kept yelling at him, calling him lazy and saying he broke several jars. The kid bit his lip, holding back tears. He'd worked so hard. He got up early to sweep the courtyard, scrub the floors clean, even cleaned the barn and chicken coop. He even organized the warehouse. But no matter how hard he worked, he still got beaten. The woman finally stepped in. Why make him do heavy labor? If you've got eyes, use them. She pulled up the kid's sleeve. Look at these skinny arms. How's he supposed to carry water jars? He couldn't carry them, that's why they broke. Zhao was humiliated and raised his hand to hit the woman. But she wasn't afraid. She brought up the master's name and scared him off. But even though life was hard, he had to keep going. The next day, the kid went to clean the barn early. Suddenly he heard moaning sounds coming from inside. The innocent kid thought someone was sick and rushed to check. Turns out he walked in on two people hooking up. The naive kid thought the woman was being attacked. Before he could stop it, the woman touched her face and ran. The guy was furious. He punched the kid hard and called him a pervert. The kid was too innocent. He still didn't know why he got hit. Soon after, that guy lied to Zhao, saying the kid harassed the woman. The kid had no idea what happened. He said he didn't harass anyone. Then, the guy made it worse, saying he saw the kid following the woman and touching her. Zhao finally had an excuse to beat him. He grabbed a stick and beat the kid. He only stopped when he got tired. Barely alive, the kid kept saying he wasn't lying. But Zhao thought he was stubborn and deserved more beating. Just as Zhao was about to hit him again, the kid crawled over and grabbed his leg. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Please stop hitting me. Satisfied, Zhao let him go. Get lost. You make me sick. After the beating, everyone watching left. Then that guy walked over with a nasty smile, warning the kid, that's what you get for messing with me. Don't say anything about what happened in the barn, or you'll get worse than a beating. The kid finally realized his mother was right. He shouldn't have gotten involved with anyone. He was mentally alone, so he had to escape back to the mountains. The kid stole from the guy because he was starving. Not only did the guy burn down his house, he almost killed him. He only survived because he was decent looking. The guy spared him and brought him home. But after bringing him back, the guy ignored him. Poor kid worked endless hours doing heavy labor. Even then, he couldn't escape beatings. Someone even framed him for harassing a woman and almost beat him to death. Unable to take it anymore, the kid decided to escape. One morning he was sweeping the courtyard. Looking around, no one was there. He saw his chance, dropped the broom, and ran. He ran through the woods until he reached the pavilion and stopped. Getting closer, he saw someone sleeping inside. And the person was gorgeous. He'd never seen anyone so beautiful. Then a delicious smell caught the kid's attention. Hungry and tired, he saw a table full of food. His eyes lit up. He reached for it, then pulled back. He was caught for stealing before. Even if he was hungry, he had to ask first. He looked the guy over. Fair, smooth skin. dark eyebrows and hair like ink, beautiful lips and nose. The kid thought to himself, he looked like he walked out of a painting. But wearing so little, wasn't he cold or was he dead? Just as he reached out to check, the guy told him to back off. With his eyes open, the kid thought he looked even better. No, he was handsome, super handsome. His stomach growling brought the kid back to reality. Sir, I haven't eaten all day. Can I have one of those pastries? The guy looked puzzled and didn't answer. The kid got nervous in front of someone so good looking and stammered, just one. Then the guy suddenly blew smoke in the kid's face. The kid coughed non-stop. Seeing him like that, the guy smirked. He looked at the table and gestured that the kid could eat. The kid was so happy he grabbed one and stuffed it in his mouth. But one wasn't enough, so he asked if he could have another. Since the guy didn't say no, the kid took it as a yes. He kept eating. Soon, he'd cleaned every plate. Full and satisfied, the kid thanked the guy. Good people get rewarded. The guy still didn't talk. Maybe he was just quiet. But curiosity made him ask, aren't you cold, sir? What? You must be freezing. As soon as he said it, the kid realized he overstepped. He said goodbye and turned to leave. But the estate was too big. The kid got lost and turned back. He asked for directions. Sir, I want to get back to the mountains. Do you know which way to go? The guy froze. He slammed down his pipe. His face darkened. Where do you think you're going? The kid stole from the guy because he was starving. Not only did the guy burn his house down, he almost killed him. He only spared him because he looked pretty when he cried. But he couldn't escape punishment, so the guy brought the kid to his place. After that, it was like he forgot about the kid. He never checked on him again. During that time, he had to work from dawn to dusk and put up with endless bullying. Then he accidentally walked in on other servants fooling around. They framed him for harassing a woman and beat him badly. If he hadn't begged for mercy, he'd be dead. That's when he got an idea. Find a chance to escape and go back home. But the place was too big and he got lost. Of all people to ask for directions, he picked the wrong guy. Hearing he wanted to run, the guy's eyes turned cold. He walked toward him step by step, asking the kid why he wanted to leave. By the guy's presence, the kid quickly answered that his home was in the mountains, not here. As the guy got closer, the kid felt deja vu and fell hard to the ground in fear. Then the guy spoke, saying he never said the kid could leave. Right after that, the guy stepped forward and grabbed the kid by the throat. That's when the kid realized. This was the man who burned his house and almost killed him. Just as the kid was about to pass out, the guy let go. He asked the kid if he was trying to run away, even if he wanted to run. Why ask him for direction? Did he think he was an idiot? The kid shook his head frantically. He didn't mean it like that. It was his fault for not recognizing the master. If he'd known it was the master, he'd never have done that. But the guy clearly didn't believe his excuse. He thought it was all lies. The kid had to explain he had night blindness and couldn't see anything at night. He was scared the master would think he was useless and gouge out his eyes. He quickly added that he could see perfectly fine during the day. The guy was skeptical. Then he asked the kid why he wanted to escape. The kid said he was too tired. The guy almost laughed. That was quite the excuse. The kid looked pitiful and explained he wasn't lying. He got beaten badly not long ago. He was bruised all over. The guy frowned. He asked who did it and why. But Zhao wouldn't feed him. Some guy named Xiao kept hitting him, and even though his name was Yingwu, they kept calling him an idiot to humiliate him. Getting more upset, the kid collapsed on the ground crying, but the guy didn't stop him. But once the kid finished crying, he started asking questions again. There was one thing he didn't understand. Why did seeing this kid cry make him feel bad? He told the kid, from now on, no matter what, he couldn't leave. He better forget any idea about being let go. The warning was given, but the guy still felt uneasy. So he decided to eliminate every reason the kid had for wanting to leave. But the kid's legs hurt too much to walk. The guy had no choice. He just picked him up and warned him not to move and stay still. After that, the guy gathered all the servants in the house, especially Foreman Zhao. The guy pointed at the kid in front of Zhao and told everyone, he brought this person back. They all knew that, right? And said shakily, yes. The guy's eyes turned cold. Then you know he belongs to me. Zhao was terrified, wondering what that idiot did now. The guy glanced at the kid and continued. The kid came to the back courtyard asking for directions, trying to escape. Everyone started saying the kid must be crazy to do something like that. Zhao dropped to his knees. He didn't expect that fool to try to run away. But the guy said that wasn't the point. The point was he wasn't letting him go. So to stop him from trying to run again, he was gonna remove the clothes, the terrible word as you did. Zhao's heart sank when he heard that. His eyes instantly shot a fierce look at Xiao beside him. But the young master caught that move right away. He marched up and slapped Zhao across the face. He warned him to answer properly and not try anything sneaky. Xiao stole the young master stuff because he was starving. Not only did the young master burn down his house in revenge, he told him to. In the end, seeing he had some looks, he decided to spare his life. But he could escape death, not punishment. So he decided to bring him to the estate as a slave. Back to our story. To crush any thoughts of escape. For the young master, there's no right or wrong. Only what he wants, and what makes him happy. Xiao Shou without checking the facts first, so the young master chopped off one of his hands. Next up was a matter of Jianye falsely accusing Xiao Shou. Naturally, he'd get what he deserved. In the young master's eyes, they're just walking livestock. Daring to lay hands on his property, really asking for death. Later, the young master gouged Xiao Jianyo's eyes with his bare hands. For everyone there, froze in shock. After dealing with those two, the young master looked at Xiao Shou. He asked him what else he needed. How could he dare make demands, looking like that? With how timid Xiao Shou was before the young master's hand even came down, he was already begging for mercy. He couldn't hold it in and peed himself. Xiao Shou tearfully cried that he never thought things would turn out like this. But the usually stern young master saw him like that and burst out laughing. He'd been feeling bored lately. Now he'd really found himself something interesting. He raised his hand to Shou and told him to take him back and clean him up. After washing him, bring him to his room. Xiao Shou finally got to eat a full meal. Just nearly choked to death. If the young master hadn't been he might have keeled over right then. Ever since witnessing the young master kill someone, Xiao Shou's been shaken. Someone explained to him that he should thank the young master. After all, the young master believed him and helped him. Thinking about it, Xiao Shou realized that seemed true. Though the young master was terrifyingly unapproachable, he didn't seem like a total bad guy. However, this all goes back to the young master's childhood. His father taught him back then that a blade exists to cut and kill. No need to show mercy to those who fall under. With his ruthless decisiveness, he became the top martial scholar at 15. People even gave him the nickname Night Demon. Maybe the blade's edge was too sharp. He accidentally cut his finger. The young master frowned. The poison in his body still wasn't fully clear. Just then, an attendant brought Xiao Shou over. Master remembered that Xiao Shou had given his name that day. Said it was Ying Wu or something. The attendant suddenly noticed blood on the young master's hand and nervously asked what happened. Should he call a doctor? The young master frowned. Forget, get out. The attendant wanted to say more. But under the young master's pressure, he could only shut up. Only Xiao Shou and the young master were left in the room. Watching him tremble like a frightened mouse, the young master found it quite satisfying. But he still didn't get it. Why would such an insignificant guy make him this tolerant? However, when the young master said nothing for a while, Xiao Shou sneaked a peek. Who knew he'd lock eyes with the young master? Scared, he quickly turned his head away. Seeing him like that, the young master got annoyed. He grabbed Xiao Shou's chin. If you want to look, just look directly. This sneaky act of yours really ticks me off. Before finishing his sentence, the young master Xiao Shou lost him thought. The servant outside came to announce the meal, breaking the silence. Xiao Shou looked at the table full of groups. His mouth watered. This must taste amazing. Super delicious for sure. But just then, the young master suddenly told him to eat. Xiao Shou couldn't believe it. He could really eat. The young master looked speechless. Is there a way to fake eat? If you've got that talent, go ahead and show me. Hearing that, what was Xiao Shou waiting for? He quickly thanked the young master. He definitely finished shaking. Watching Xiao Shou eat with such relish, the young master almost laughed. Who knew the next moment he'd start crying? Xiao Shou explained it was because the food was so delicious, he was crying from happiness. Thank you, young master, for letting him eat so much good food. Hearing that, the young master couldn't help but smile. There was too much food. Xiao Shou got full halfway through. He forced more down and choked. He kept pounding his chest in discomfort. The young master reminded Xiao Shou to quit spacing out and drink some water. But Xiao Shou was about to suffocate. How could he hear anything? How the young master didn't care anymore. He pulled Xiao Shou over and poured water down his throat. Good thing the young master acted fast and saved him. When Xiao Shou came to, he was stunned. He quickly pulled away from the young master's arms. His mind raced. What just happened? Their lips touched. Was that a kiss? Should count as one, right? But why did he have to do it that way? But seeing how calm the young master looked, was he overreacting? Sure enough, the next moment the young master asked what was wrong with him, looking annoyed. What could he say? He could only awkwardly say thanks. Then he asked if the young master wasn't eating. The young master closed his eyes and said he had no interest in dining with commoners. Xiao Shou didn't dare say anything. He pointed at the food on the table. I'm not eating anymore. The young master I don't have a habit of eating a commoner's leftovers either. This poor Xiao Shou. There were way too many leftovers. Maybe he should eat more now while he could. But who knew the young master would suddenly say if he choked again, he'd snap his neck. Shou quickly put down his chopsticks. Xiao Shou got lost again and couldn't find his way. The young master saw him and hoisted him straight into the room. He dropped him on the floor with. He coldly asked what he was doing at the door. Shou explained he wanted to go back to the outer courtyard. It was too dark outside, he couldn't see anything. Then because he was so tired, before Xiao Shou could finish, the young master struck him with his blade handle. The reason he found him too noisy and bothersome. Motionless, he poked him with the blade handle. He flipped him over and found the guy had fallen asleep. The young master looked thoroughly disgusted. He'd sent him out so late last night too. He warned him again not to think about it. If next time he came looking and he wasn't there, he wouldn't get another chance to live. If he ever thought of running again, he should picture himself burning to death. That way it'd surely make him abandon all stupid ideas. After that, he kicked him out without another glance. Xiao Shou had knelt too long. His legs went numb and he couldn't stand, so he face planted on the ground. Watching him howl in pain, the young master was truly impressed by his uselessness. He mocked Xiao Shou, asking if this act meant he wanted to be carried back personally. Xiao Shou waved his hands frantically. No, his legs were just numb. He'd leave right away. He wandered around but couldn't tell where anything was. No choice but to return to the young master's place. As luck would have it, the guy slept like a log. The young master had insomnia. Rare to see these two in such harmony. Just that Xiao Shou drooling in his sleep looked pretty bad. Though the young master looked disgusted, he didn't wake him. The attendant had prepared washing up supplies. The young master called him in as usual. But seeing Xiao Shou snoring on the floor really surprised the attendant. The young master didn't like him staring at Xiao Shou. He asked if the attendant quickly looked away and left in a hurry. After a quick wash, the young master changed into a sharp black casual outfit. He called his men to the training ground. Another boring day began. The poison still lingering made him feel a bit weary. But it didn't stop his daily training. It helped pass the dull, tedious time. After that, he went to bed. The attendant reminded him Xiao Shou was still in his room. He asked if the young master wanted him woken and sent to the outer. Who knew the young master would answer, just leave him, don't bother. The attendant was shocked but didn't dare overstep. Truth was, the young master couldn't figure out why he was so lenient with the servant. In the past, he'd have killed him already. By now he'd be bones. Xiao Shou really slept in big time. The young master looked at him with total admiration. How could someone sleep an entire day without waking? But finally, the smell of food did the trick. Xiao Shou cracked his eyes open quite widely. Who knew he'd lock eyes with the young master watching him? He snapped at him. Since you're awake, get up already. Now Xiao Shou jolted awake in fright. He looked at the young master confused. How'd he fall asleep in his room? The young master had the same question. Why hadn't he killed him and let him stay instead? Xiao Shou's heart. Did that mean he wasn't killing him and letting him go? As if afraid the young master would change his mind, he quickly knelt and kowtowed, thanking him for taking him in. The young master didn't respond. He ordered him to leave if he'd slept enough. Xiao Shou looked. It was already dark outside. So he knelt there stammering to the young master that he should go back. But it was too dark. He couldn't see the way back at night. The young master kept reading without looking up. I know, so what? Xiao Shou explained if he couldn't see, he'd get lost like yesterday. So could he send him back? The young master suddenly looked up and glared at him. Xiao Shou quickly waved his hands. That seemed unrealistic. Sending someone with him would work too. Seeing no change in the young master's expression, Xiao Shou rushed to say that seemed too arrogant. After this standoff went on a while, Xiao Shou had no choice, apologized, saying he'd find his way back. But then the young master suddenly spoke. If he got lost halfway and made noise like yesterday again, he might as well just stay put here. He didn't want to be woken by sneezing again. Xiao Shou asked the young master in disbelief. Really? He could really stay here? The young master rubbed his forehead, annoyed. Was he hard of hearing? Why did he always have to repeat himself? Xiao Shou looked delighted. The young master was right. His hearing was bad. The young master froze, and he couldn't help but laugh out loud. This freaked out Xiao Shou. He quickly changed his tune. His hearing was actually fine. It was just changing so fast he didn't know how to explain anything. The young master found it contradictory. This guy always looking scared yet talking back. But somehow listening to him he was getting used to it. Completely different from other servants. With him around, everything seemed more interesting. Sometimes he felt like talking to this guy. Made him turn into an idiot. Just then servants came to clear the meal. Xiao Shou looked at the delicious food, thinking it must taste great. His stomach grumbled at just the wrong time. Xiao Shou smiled awkwardly. I'm so hungry, sorry. The young master couldn't help but chuckle. Then he ordered the two servants to put down the food. Seems their servant lord here is hung. Xiao Shou gained another skill. He could actually make the insomniac young master sleep. Today it was too dark, so the young master kept Xiao Shou. He even let him eat a meal. Just that he was so stuffed he couldn't eat more. Such a waste of leftovers. Good thing the young master was focused on reading. Thank goodness he didn't pay much attention to him. Looking at the young master like this, he was beautiful as an angel. Not like when he held a sword looking like a demon from hell. He was curious what book the young master was reading so intently. Xiao Shou looked at the title and unconsciously read it out loud, word by word. The young master was totally shocked. He never thought a country bumpkin could actually read. And Xiao Shou grinned. His mother taught him. She said, if you could read, you'd only get tricked once instead of twice. The young master didn't expect that answer from Xiao Shou. Staring at him like that actually scared Xiao Shou plenty. But then the young master suddenly spoke, praising him for finally having a useful skill. He gestured with his finger, telling Xiao Shou to lean in. Seeing Xiao Shou's confused look, he turned stern. Don't make him repeat himself. Then he tossed the book to Xiao Shou. He told him to try reading from. Xiao Shou looked at all those words on the page, feeling lost. The young master had given an order. He couldn't disobey. He had to warn first that he hadn't read many books. There were lots of words he didn't know. The young master's face instantly darkened. So you can't do it. Xiao Shou frantically waved his hand. He tried his hardest. Please don't be angry, young. Next, Xiao Shou read word by word. When he got stuck on words he didn't know the young master would teach him how to read them. Normally he'd have lost patience already. So oddly enough, only with Xiao Shou did he unknowingly become this indulgent. He even let his guard down completely, sleeping till late morning. If the attendant hadn't come in to wake him, he'd probably still be asleep. The young master usually got up early to train. Today he slept in. It felt unusual. Then the blanket rustled, instantly catching their attention. Master quickly pulled off the covers. There was Xiao Shou hugging his leg, sleeping soundly. Seeing this, the young master was completely stunned. Someone so alert like him didn't even notice another person in his bed.